The President of the Senate, distinguished Senator Goswill Akpabio, ably represented by the Chairman, Senate Committee on National Planning and Economic Affairs, distinguished Senator Yahya Abdullahi. Your Excellencies, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, Engineer Abdullahi A. Sule. Your Excellencies, the Deputy Governor of Yobe State, Alhaji Idi Gubana. The Honorable Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu. I would like to weaponize him and the Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, to recognize and appreciate all my colleagues. There are too numerous for me to go through the list of the Federal Executive Council. Special advisors to the President, my brother, my friend, His Royal Highness, the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Dr. Muhammad Sanusi II, the Chairman, Nigeria Economic Summit Group, Mr. Olani Yusuf, heads of government agencies and parastatals, members of the Diplomatic Corps, captains of industry, esteemed panelists, members of the Fourth Estate of the Rim, honored guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Our faith in our economies is the magic wand of our reforms. There is no single decision we have taken that is not guided by the pursuit of balance between economic logic and public expectation. Every reform we have introduced has emerged from deep reflection and the courage to act in the interest of the nation. We owe our specialists and stakeholders in economics and public policy a debt of gratitude for staying with us through turbulent tides, for providing insights, for offering criticisms, and for reminding us that our collective goal is not comfort in divergence, but progress in convergence. Whatever our differences, we are bound by the same destination, the duty we owe our people. That is why I'm honored to share the glory of this day with you. The theme of this summit, Building a Prosperous and Inclusive Nigeria by 2030, breathes life into our development agenda. For a nation as abundantly endowed as ours, with immense natural resources and a population blessed with skills and ambition, our greatest asset lies in planning for the future. We are aware of the obstacles before us. We are aware of our economic inequality, insecurity, and infrastructural deficits. But we must also acknowledge that there is no shortcut out of this dilemma. Our task, the task of reform, is to set the course and continue with the changes that will define the Nigeria of tomorrow. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our renewed hope agenda is not just the outcome of consultations with experts and citizens. It was inspired by our determination to move beyond rhetorics and confront the obstacles that have long restrained this nation's vast potential. The bold reforms we have undertaken speak for themselves. You, as experts in wealth creation, are the fairest judges of their impact. Wherever you stand, there is a resounding consensus that our reforms have stabilized our macroeconomic environment, with our economy expanding to $372.8 billion in 2024, up from $309.5 trillion in 2023. Our total revenue collection also rose from 19.9 trillion naira in 2023 to 25.2 trillion naira in 2024. And as of August, it has reached 27.8 trillion naira, surpassing the revenue target of 18.32 trillion naira. These triumphs and projections are guided by the promise we have made to the nation to grow Nigeria's debt service to revenue ratio from 97%, where we met it, to a sustainable level. Aside from the good news that this ratio has now reduced to less than 50%, I am proud to share that this performance in our early days in office inspired Fitch to upgrade Nigeria's sovereign rating to be with a stable outlook, and Moody's to lift our issuer rating to B3 with a stable outlook. Both praise our improved economic foresight and clearer policy direction as their barometers. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the reforms championed by the present administration have begun to yield tangible results across sectors and beyond the GDP growth of 4.23% recorded in September 2025. A number which surpasses projections from multilateral agencies and local think tanks. Non-oil revenues increased by 411% year-on-year in the same month, while the tax-to-GDP ratio now nudges towards 13.5%, up from barely 7% a few years ago. Our debt-to-GDP ratio now stands at 38.8%, far below the limit set by the Fiscal Responsibility Act of 60%, and those of ECOWAS and World Bank at 70%. These numbers tell the story of a nation prepared for the present. They represent the promise we made to Nigerians. We came to office fully aware that the secret to a successful federation lies in empowering each federating unit with the resources and autonomy to pursue development peculiar to its needs. This is why we increased the state's monthly allocations, giving them room to fund critical projects and social interventions. Simultaneously, our commitment to redeeming our industrial and infrastructural deficits has enhanced productivity across sectors. We are now producing an average of 1.8 million barrels of oil per day and are working towards achieving 2 million barrels per day by the end of the 2025 fiscal year. As experts in the economy, you know more than the average citizen that the stability in our foreign exchange market is not accidental. It reflects deliberate choices guided by the same economic logic and wisdom that gatherings such as these embody. Along with subsidy removal, these decisions have rescued our public finances, stabilized the economy, and reassured investors at home and abroad. We owe this progress to the sacrifices of Nigerians, whose patience and understanding have been the bedrock of our endurance. To them, I say, the better days we promise are already within sight. Through these reforms, our external reserves have grown to $43 billion as of September 2025. The figure we had when we assumed the mantle of leadership was so frighteningly low that I can't even dare to quote. Our trade balance also improved to 7.46 trillion naira in the second quarter of 2025, up from 5.17 trillion in the first quarter. I admit that this growth has not yet fully translated into enough jobs for our people, but we are closing that gap. We are giving priority to agriculture and solid minerals, two sectors with great potential to create jobs and strengthen our economy. To move faster, we have entered into partnerships with other countries to bring in modern farming equipment, train our farmers, and expand extension services across the nation. Agriculture is the bedrock of our economy. And for us to have enhanced agricultural output, we have to embrace technology. Improved seed is absolutely essential. Fertilization is a sine qua non. Extension services is an ingredient for successful agricultural intervention, and most importantly, better agricultural practices. And we are poised to see that the whole mantra is on increase in yield as lightly enunciated by the Vice Chairman of the NESG. And we cannot have improved yields without embracing technology, modernity, fertilization, and of course, technology. Not complex technologies where a family of 3 or 4 can farm 2,000, 5,000 hectares, but intermediate technology that also employ labor and drive productivity. And our reforms are deliberately cross-cultural because we understand that diversification is the only pathway to sustainable growth. The contribution of the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development to the Federation account has improved remarkably with the sector, generating $12.58 billion in 2024, through manual title applications and related fees. This is a sign of the sector's awakening and the result of deliberate reforms aimed at unlocking its full potential. As a people-oriented government, our priority remains restoring hope to the unemployed, the poor, the excluded, and the vulnerable. We have created pathways for young Nigerians to access grants and loans and equity investments of up to $100,000 to scale their enterprises, innovate, and build sustainable livelihoods. We established a 200 billion naira intervention fund to support micro, small, and medium enterprises and manufacturers, helping them overcome structural challenges and enhance competitiveness. Our expansion of digital microloan access has improved financial inclusion, empowering small businesses and stimulating community-level productivity. These efforts underline our commitment to an economy that works for all Nigerians. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Poor Tax Reform Acts recently signed into law, the Nigeria Tax Act, the Nigeria Tax Administration Act, the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Act, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Act represents a bold recalibration of our fiscal architecture. They will boost domestic revenue mobilization, reduce dependence on oil, and simplify compliance. These reforms protect low-income earners, ensure fairness in corporate taxation, and strengthen digital innovation in tax administration. By promoting transparency and coordination among all tiers of government, we are laying the foundation for a fairer and more prosperous Nigeria. To improve connectivity and ease of movement, we are constructing highways, bridges, and rail lines across states, including interstate terminals, with over 440 ongoing road projects covering more than 2,700 kilometers of superhighways nationwide. These investments in infrastructure are the arteries of national prosperity, facilitating commerce and strengthening national unity. The government has also unveiled the renewed Hope Ward-Based Development Program, a people-centered initiative designed to empower citizens at the grassroots. By targeting all 8,809 wards across the 774 local government areas, the program seeks to map local economic activities, human capital, infrastructure, and resource endowment, ensuring no community is left behind. Modeled after successful frameworks in China, India, and Kenya, it represents a bottom-up approach to addressing multidimensional poverty through participatory development. Community leaders, residents, and ward representatives will identify local priorities that feed into local government, state, and national plans to ensure alignment and sustainability. To realize these noble goals, subnational governments must play an active role. At the federal level, our commitment remains unshaken. We continue to strengthen coordination and ensure that all segments of the society are coming in tandem with our aspirations in terms of policy coherence and implementation across institutions. We therefore call on states to align with the renewed hope agenda in the collective pursuit of a future where every Nigerian can thrive. As we commence this summit, I wish to share with you that while our challenges are daunting, they are not insurmountable. Our ticket to achieving inclusive and lasting prosperity is our series of sound policies, strong partnerships, and the commitment of the private sector. This is why we must use this platform to develop actionable recommendations that will drive sustainable growth and strengthen our nation's resilience. The government is ready to receive and implement the recommendations that will emerge from your deliberations through the relevant ministries, departments, and agencies. My fellow Nigerians, we are not condemned to low growth, high costs, and low trust. We will stabilize, we will industrialize, we will humanize our economy. We will stabilize prices and currency. And we will industrialize through power, logistics, and technology. We will humanize governance so that every citizen feels respected, and served. On this note, I want to dwell on something that is very dear, a topical issue that is very dear to the heart of every Nigerian. Aliko Dangote is not an individual, he's an institution. And he's a leading light in Nigeria's economic firmament. And how we treat this gentleman will determine how outsiders will judge us. If he had invested $10 billion in Microsoft, in Amazon, in Google, probably he might be worth $70 to $80 billion by now. But he opted to invest in his country, and we owe it to future generations to jealously protect, promote, preserve, and project the interests of this great Nigeria. I wish to call for caution, retrospection, and a deeper sense of patriotism from both the labor and the organized private sector in defining and improving the relationship between labor and industry in the interest of maintaining our steadily improving economic fortunes. It's not about holding the whole nation to ransom because of a minor labor dispute. Nigeria is greater than Pengasan. Nigeria is greater than each and every one of us. I am not coming to you as a partisan. I am coming to you as a patriot in search of solutions to our national challenges. I wish to re-emphasize that in the interest of improving the fortunes, the government is hereby tasking the Nigerian Economic Summit Group in taking more than a passing interest in the matter. The government will expect far-reaching recommendations from the NESG in addressing this issue, even as the government is also taking steps to protect big industry and ensuring industrial harmony for the good of the nation. This is a refinery, Your Excellencies, Your Royal Highnesses, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that was financed through a combination of equity investment, through debt finance, and loans from local and foreign banks. The refinery has to function to service the debt. And we cannot hold the whole nation to ransom for some issues that we can amicably settle across the table. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this is off-the-cuff remarks, but I believe it reflects the true position of President Bola Tinubu. It reflects the true position of the Nigerian people. On this note, we look forward to the fruitful deliberations of this important gathering, a gathering that has assembled the creme de la creme of the Nigerian business ecosystem. It's my singular honor and privilege, on behalf of President Bola Tinubu, GCFR, to declare the 31st Nigerian Economic Summit open. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Your Excellency.